How's it going, guys? It's Cam back at you again. Today I wanted to bring you a video I don't normally do, which is basically a list of tips. Not so much practical tips to do with technique specifically, but more little things to keep in mind. It doesn't matter what stage you're at in your playing, it doesn't matter whether you're just starting out, or if you've been playing for years, or if you're stuck in a rut and you have no idea how you're going to get out of it. This video is for you. And one or two of my points are slightly controversial, so get ready, but the whole point of this video is to convey little nuggets of knowledge that I have taken on board from being a self-taught player, for being on YouTube for years, getting asked tons of questions, whether it be from SKYPE students, also meeting some brilliant people who've massively inspired me, that I've taken tips from those people and put them in this video. And it's just little things to help you on your way so that you can get that every bit closer to where you want to be, not to make waves. For once, I'm actually a bit nervous for this video, but let's go nonetheless. First tip is learn what you love, not what people say you should, for two reasons. Number one is you're playing guitar for yourself. If someone says you should learn this, you should learn that, blah blah blah, it becomes a bit of a chore then. It's like you're learning it for them, not for yourself. So it's really important to take whatever you love, it doesn't matter what it is, and make it your life's mission. Do not stop until you get there. And you can probably see that in a bunch of different players. It doesn't matter whether it's certain blues players or the shred gods we all look up to. They'll have started with a sound in their head or something that they've maybe taken inspiration from. I thought, I'm gonna never ever stop until I've made that happen. And because they love it, brings me on to my second point, you'll continue to be inspired, you'll be doing it for you, and you'll be devoting so much time to it, you'll simply never put down the guitar. And you'll notice so much more technical benefit and enjoyment, which makes the guitar so much more fun and pleasurable for everybody. So learn what you love, not what people say you should. Tip number two is very important and probably controversial, but it comes down to the fact that there isn't really such thing as proper technique when it comes to learning whatever you want to learn. If you're trying to copy a certain song or cover a certain song, that is where you have to bite the bullet and impersonate the technique needed to play that song the best you can. But in terms of like your own playing, whether it be alternate pick runs or whatever it is, you'll hear some people say online, you have to start with a downstroke. No, you don't. Some people might say, you have to use your little finger for this because. Not true. The most important thing is doing whatever you want to do or whatever you feel you need to do in your own technique, even if it means inventing it for yourself to get you to where you want to be. End of. It's really, really important. Don't ever feel pressurized by other people you see online saying that you have to do this to achieve this. It doesn't happen. Look at people like Django Reinhardt. For a huge amount of his career, he had two usable fingers and he was a wizard on the fretboard. You get other people you see on Instagram and stuff like that who are playing brilliant solos and iconic riffs with their feet because they don't have any hands. There is no such thing as the correct thing. It's amazing how important it is for you to invent techniques for yourself. No one can take that away from you. Tip number three is linked to number one in many respects, but it's really important to have fun on the guitar, no question. Even if there was no money to be made in music, people would still play instruments because it's fun, and you have to have fun in order to do it. That's how I say, learn what you love, not what people say you should. But if your sole goal is to improve, it's really important to stay challenged. Otherwise, you will never go anywhere. Sit with something, even if it might seem like an impossible mountain to climb at first. Really devote the time. Take that one little bit, the little challenge that you're working on, and keep going at it until it is not a challenge anymore, whether it be your first riff or Dragon Force through the fire and flames. Here's a really important tip for a lot of people. Online you'll see loads of people with incredible guitars and tons of equipment and all of these things, and they're great players as well. But one thing that's really important to know, and this again could be a bit controversial, but new equipment does not make you a better player. It only inspires you to carry on. If you buy like a £3,000 Les Paul or something like that, or even something really, really cheap secondhand, and you notice a change in your playing, or you notice that you got better, it's simply a fact that you got better. The guitar or amp or whatever did not change a thing. Man, that felt good. This is another really quick tip, and it's commonly heard everywhere because it's so true and slightly goes against what I've already said about devoting the time and really making it your life's mission to complete stuff. It's also so important to take a break. And the real importance of that is, one, I mean, some people have like a case of injury or whatnot. I mean, at the start of last spring, I had real troubles with my wrist, and I was going through what I thought was going to be the early stages of carpal tunnel because I play all the time. But another part of taking a break, which is really important, putting injury and that stuff aside for a moment, is that if you leave the guitar alone, it could be for, I don't know, a week or a couple of days or whatever it might be, you'll come back to the guitar with fresh ears and it feels absolutely brilliant. It's like you're re-inspired, if that makes sense. It doesn't feel like a chore anymore. So I highly recommend taking a break. This particular tip derives from a question that I get asked an awful lot in Skype lessons, which is, how long should I spend on this to get to this level? Or how long should I spend on, for argument's sake, alternate picking to get to the level of Paul Gilbert, for example? And the simple fact of the matter is there is no deadline to achieve a technique. It doesn't matter what it is. It's simply a fact of figuring out how you learn best, picking a technique or a practice method that serves you well. It doesn't matter whether it's to a metronome or sitting there noodling in front of the TV for hours on end until something gets that little bit more comfortable. It's really important to understand that it takes as long as it takes until you've nailed it. And another really important thing that's slightly bolted to this, and this is to do with YouTube and being online. You'll see some videos out there, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing strictly, but it does have a side effect, is you'll see some really great players who will say, I learned how to sweep pick in 100 days, or I learned to play this particular solo in 10 days, or whatever it might be. And the whole point of those videos is to inspire, and they are inspirational to an extent, don't get me wrong. But also, on the flip side, it can place a lot of pressure on people to think, oh my god, if they can do it in 100 days, that means I can too. That's the inspirational part. But also, how do I do that? Don't ever feel pressurized to think if they can do that in a certain amount of time, that means I have to. It's not the case. It takes as long as it takes. Thank you very much for watching this video, you guys. I hope you've liked what you've seen. Please take on board some of the information that I've put across. These aren't instructions, like you have to do this. As I say, it's the complete opposite. It's just little things to think about, little nuggets of wisdom and certain pointers that have really helped me along the way. And the most important part of this video, I wanted to put it out there to help you guys. I don't care how many views this video gets, just as long as people who watch it can take something from it, and hopefully it will put them one step closer to where they want to be in their guitar playing life and whatever instrument they may be playing. If you're a drummer and you've stumbled across this, hello. But nevertheless, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, hit the thumbs up if you feel you learned something. I'll be back again very, very soon. Take care. Thanks so much.